Is the mic working? Okay. All right, cool. All right, so what this stream is going to be, I'm going to try to make it quick, but who knows? You know what I mean? It's me. I'm going to go ahead and go over how to color if you want to use Photoshop. Now, I personally rarely ever use Photoshop to do it, but I know a lot of people love to use it, so I'll kind of go with that. So I'm going to find an example real quick, right? So let's find like a full body item here that's not too crazy. Or just an item in general. Let's see. Oh, we got unique items. What about, let's see, a common item, an upper. Got this blazer. I need to find something with some textures on it. These are like shirts and stuff. So let's see. And biker. Okay, so let's see an ID map. Okay, this one looks promising. Looks a little bit complex. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save that texture. And I'm going to save this texture. And there's a couple things that we can do ahead of time if we want to. So these are the two textures that need to get colored because as you can see, they're just gray, right? It's like, what is that? I don't even know. But you want to color it for whatever reason. So let's get into that. Where'd I go? Okay, but we want to figure out what, if we want to do the official colors, we can do that as well. So we want to go to material, and I'm looking for this material. So this N biker material. Oops, what is it? N biker shoulder something. All right, so let's see, shoulder, this thing. All right, and you see these ID numbers in here, and that's what we're going to be looking for. But we're going to scroll all the way down here to the, you start to see these, right? These different channel sections. They have ID colors associated with them, right? So every material is going to have ID colors from 01 to 16. All right. Each color is in a range of 4, and the game may or may not use every value. But we can see exactly what they're going to be using if we look for a parameter called the split number per channel parameter. So I'm going to Control F, split. There you go. Split number per channel. And so this is 4400. So what that is telling me is that in the red channel, they'll be using 4 different values, and in the green channel, they'll be using 4 different values that we can color on this particular material. Now, it can be up to 4 on all of these. It could be 1, 2, 1, 0. It could be whatever, and this is the alpha channel. So, whatever. But this one is just going to be 4, 4. So, let's take a look at it. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring this over. And this is Photopea. So it's all messy because it's all free because I do not feel like loading. I want to make this smaller. I want to change the view of this thing. I don't know why it's so zoomed in. Zoom out a bit. Okay. And then these ads. Ad blocking detected, whatever. It's whatever. But let me close all this stuff right now. Working on a bunch of stuff. I'll need it open. All right, we'll start fresh. Okay, so let's go back to this. So I'm gonna go to this ID with the same folder, and I'm just gonna copy that location so I can go ahead and open it up in here. So we'll open, and of course you can use whatever. You can use Photoshop if you're using it, and if you know how to use GIMP, use GIMP. I don't use GIMP, so I can't help you. So we've got that. We've got this our diffuse gray map, whatever. Let's go ahead and open and place this one. All right. So there's probably a million ways to do this, but this is the way I suggest it. So I usually hide the background, diffuse later because I don't need it, not right now. And now I'm going to take a look at the different channels, right? And so we know that we're using 4 different channels. Now black is not a channel, like black is not a color, so don't worry about black. But we're going to have 4 different values. And you can see here, maybe not like on its face, but you can see that there's different values. And you want to be able to isolate these so that you can color them. So the way I do it, and like I said, feel free to do it as you see fit, is I'll create folders. So let's go ahead and I'm going to create 3 folders, right? And I'm just going to R1, R2, R3, R4. All right, so I've got my 4 channels here. And I create folders, right? And then inside of here, we're going to go ahead and create a layer, right? So I got a layer in each of these, right? Easy peasy. All right, so I'm going to go back to my red layer, right? And I'm going to go up to select my color range. And I set this at like 1. For a lot of things, I set it at like fuzzy 200, but I don't need that. For this one, I need things very specific, so I set it down to just 1, right? And then I just select the color range. Now, because we're coloring in Photoshop, like, you know, it doesn't matter which color you pick as long as they're different every time. And as you can see, I've got these different ranges, right? So I've got this range, this one, this, oops, not that one, this one, and this one. Right. So I can click on, let's find the darkest one, which is this one. I can say, okay, go to layers, and so I'll click on this, and then I'll click on the little mask, right? Boom. And I just do that for each of these. So select color range. What's the next darkest? Let's say this one maybe. Say okay. Go to my next folder, click on the mask. Go here and just rinse and repeat, right? Stone one. Okay. What am I missing? Did I get these ones? So I've got did I get these? It's hard to tell. So if I want to kind of see what I got as well. All right, so I did that for the red section, right? And then I also like to create an overall folder. Oh, can you hit Control Z real quick? Let me go ahead and hide these for a second. And then I'm gonna make another folder. Just call this one IDs. I'm gonna grab all these folders and just drop them into here. That way I can turn them on and off. I don't have to keep them on. So I can turn this off and turn this on, right? So all of these, well, I guess I could probably use this as well. So instead of setting this as pass through, let's set this as multiply. And now I should be able to open up one of these and just put color in here. Let's just grab that color and drop it in. There you go. And so it's using this mask, right, to color the stuff. We do the same thing here. Got a different color. Oops, gotta click on this. Now you can see it. It's using a multiply. Oh my goodness, I can't zoom quickly. So let's color this section. Right? Oh my goodness. Sorry, I haven't used Photoshop in a while, so I'm a little bit funky with it. And so I can use this to color areas. Right. Okay. And I'll color it based on this. And then, because you go to channels, things are starting to get funky, that's why I keep it in a section like this. I can turn this off, I can turn this off, turn this back on. Now I've got my channels
I can go ahead and now start working on the different channels, right? So these are my red channels, these are my green channels. I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the red channels with the green channels. And that will allow me to color everything. Right? Now, what I can't do right now in this kind of setup is kind of like see what's going on. But I don't know what's going on. Alright, so I've got this stuff colored, but who knows what that is. So if I want to see it, that's where I can kind of go into Blender and take a look at it. And this is where you can kind of use Photoshop live, so to speak. So let's go ahead and try to show you what I mean. So this is for the shoulder piece, right? For this mesh. Which, let's see, is it one piece?
Biker, common. I don't know what the difference is between these two things right now. Oh, let's see. I need to open it. Okay, so it looks like this for some of the shoulder stuff here. So let's. I'm just gonna look up shoulder real quick, just to make sure. Yep. So we got this shoulder, and I think that's the shoulder I'm working. Right. F and bike shoulder C. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this model. And we're going to go ahead and save that for right now. And so I'm using a Blender 4.5, and I like to use the U model asset mesh type. To use that, you need to make sure you have an add-on for Blender. You can just look it up on Google. You'll find it. For whatever reason, it's taking a while to save. Make sure this is set up right. That seems right. Models. Alright, it was just taking a while. So the cool thing about Blender, let's close that, is I can just drag and drop it these days. Okay, so drag and drop it, bring it in. It doesn't take forever. I think when I use like a bunch of streaming stuff, it takes a while. Alright. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's take, why is my scene set up like this? You there. Alright, let's so I want to find that shoulder material. So this thing right here. So I'm going to go into edit mode real quick. And I'm going to select this shoulder. And I'm going to set it to faces. And then I'm going to separate by selection. Oh. And I'm just doing this right now, separating it for so I can kind of demonstrate what's going on. All right, so here we go. So I'm demonstrating this here. Cool. I went ahead and just isolated it and hid the other piece. Right. I'm going to go ahead and right-click, well, not right-click, but click on this little arrow and remove unused slots so I have that good. This says use nodes. That means, as you can see in my shader section right here, right, in the shader editor, there's nothing. So I hit use nodes and it'll show our little nodes section. We can put colors and do whatever. We'll set this to material view so you can see colors change. So, but we want to use a image, and in fact we want to use the thing we just made, right? So here is the diffuse texture we want to use. So let's go ahead and save as PSD. And let's go ahead and save it to like a project folder or something, or you're going to be able to use it. And so I'll just call this one extreme feathers. Because why not? And I'll just hit save. Alright, cool. Now I should be able to load a PSD. So I can, oh, and let me just go through that. So Shift A, and then I go to search, and then I just type in image, texture. You can also hit Shift A and then go through each of these different things, whatever. You can also drag and drop an image in as well. But I'm going to go ahead and open it, and I need to navigate to this PSD, and then I can plug it in. Now, as you can see, like that, right? The colors are right there. So if I wanted to, I could color everything like there. Let me see, is this working still? No. Okay, so the if I want the alpha to show up, let's go back to our textures, and I'm looking at this one here. I need to find this OBD, so I'm going to grab this and save this texture. All right, and I'm just going to open this up. It's all big and in my way. But I'm going to grab this and bring this in to here. Okay. And these OBD textures, the opacity, which is the R channel, the first channel, is what I need to grab. So I'm going to hit Shift A, search, and I'm looking for separate color. I'm going to plug that in, and then this red channel is going to go into alpha. And there you go. You see it? There we go. We've got our alpha channel working. So the cool thing about using a PSD is that Blender can read it, which means I can go into here, right? And I can essentially change the colors live, or sort of live. So I can go into here, right, and say, okay, where's this feather, right? These feathers, do they have a color to them? And let's go ahead and hide these IDs, make sure this is set up, and we'll look in here and be like, oh, okay, cool, we can do that. So let's also just go ahead and set up the IDs for the red stuff anyways, while we're here, so I don't have to do it later. Whatever, I'll put them in later. So G1. And we know there's 4 of them because we looked at the split channel earlier. And then we'll add these. All right, cool. And we're not really looking at any of this stuff, so we're fine there. And now let's go grab our stuff. So same as before, select color range. Just grab whatever color you want to. And like I said, black is not a color, so don't select that one. Just select the darkest color that's not black. All right, so that with that selected, I can then just go to here and set that as a mask. And just repeat the same process I did earlier. Now, of course, feel free to use whatever method you want, but this is essentially what you're doing. You're isolating a section, and then you're coloring it. I feel like this green part, am I in the right section? I feel like this green part is being used twice. Interesting. It's like yellow. So it might be. I don't know why it is. Same thing down here. Which is strange. I'm going to check something out. I think I don't know how to set it as a channel mask type situation. So you might need to edit that. But nonetheless, we can go ahead and take a look at it. Where am I at? What did I not create? I think I made this section. I think I need to make this one. Wait, did I select it? I feel like I'm missing one. I think this one up here. All right, so same process, right? There's where I can color this stuff. Oh, and let's put all of these into our ID folder as well. So we turn that on, right? Set colors. And that one goes over top of that color for whatever reason. I think this one is for the feathers. Let me find it. Either way, but to prove the point, so we'll go ahead and save that. If I go into here, but then you have to reload it again. And there you go. Look, it's in there. Okay, so that's how you could do it through Photoshop. And like I said, I don't really use that method very often. I don't like it. It is pretty quick. It's relatively simple to set up. I don't know how to isolate the colors a little bit better. As you can see in here, or here I can show you. Go ahead and open up the actual ID texture, which I think is here. All right, let's grab this and hey, you drop it into Blender. All right, and then I'm just gonna copy this, open this here. Okay, and I'm gonna hit Control Spacebar to isolate this section. I'm gonna switch this to Channel Packed, and now let's see if there's a difference. Okay, so it's the same situation, right? These colors are being overlapped like this, which is really strange. I'm not sure why they would do that. Because normally that doesn't happen. They would try to avoid that. But, whatever. I guess they didn't. This one. The devs do what the devs do. But if I wanted to create something that will, so I can do all my coloring in Blender rather than using this thing, I could do that as well. So let's take a look at how that would work. Let's see. Where are we at? Okay, that's the, so this would be just the diffuse texture. I'll plug that in. Oh wait, let's grab the actual diffuse texture. So I'm gonna delete that for a second. What is this one? That's the PSD. I'm gonna duplicate this one, then open it because it should open in the same folder. Now I'll find our feathers, and I'll plug that in. Okay, so there's our feathers up here, and we want to color it in using this stuff, right? So if I wanted to create my own ID set up here, then I would do separate color, right? And if I can't see it very well on here, what I'll often do, if you see any of my streams, is I'll create a new plane RX to rotate it. Boop. 1790. All right, scale it down. And then I'll just put the material on here. There we go. So you can see it like that. Right, and if I wanted to change it, I could switch it around and see what the different things are. So if I set this to the red channel, my goal is to isolate some colors. All right, and let's see. The way I've done it in the past is I use a ramp, and then I'll set this to constant. All right, and then I usually set another one of these. So we'll have like a black, a white, and a red. And as you can see, as I move it around, different things are being highlighted up here, right? So the colors are usually like 0.01, and then this one is going to be my limiter. And let's go, we're using, so we'll say 0.55. That's point 0.05, I think. I'm not sure what the color is, to be honest. Is that a color? Let me look at this again. Well, no, I'm not even gonna lie. To be honest, I have built this whole setup before, and I don't feel like building it again. So let's see if I have it. Okay, so these node groups. So these node groups, I believe, are set to a starter blend file that I already have, and I'll kind of show you how they work. So let's go. So I've got 4 colors, right? In my little node group setup, I've got a 4 times ID, right? So if I plug this in to this channel section and then plug this into here, I should have access to 4 different colors. So color in is just the base color. We don't usually color that, but I can set different colors here. Yep, there we go. It's working. All right, so I can set this to that. I can set this other one to, let's say, like gold or something. Set this one, which is the belt, to red. Set this one, just the feathers, to whatever color. All right. Nice. Cool. I can do it again with the green. Put the green in here. Well, here, let's plug this in. And I want this color output to go into this color in. And we'll set channel to 0 for right now. And then I want this green to go into that channel. Now I can set up these colors, which, like I said, for whatever reason, it's got some of this stuff is overlapping, right? But that's also how it works in the game. So the green channels will overlap the red channels, and the blue channels overlap the green, and the alpha overlaps all of it. So why they do it like that, I have no idea, but it's whatever. But if you wanted to color it, you could. Now, if you want to make it something that you would bake out, you would take this. Where is it? Is this it? Okay, the PNG. We're going to use a mix node, right? Shift A, search, mix color. and this will be like my base. So I'll put it in A, and then this output I'll put here as the top. Plug that in, and right now it's set to a mix, which means it's trying to like blend between the two completely. But I want to set this to like multiply, right, and then set it to like 100. All right, cool. You can also set it to overlay to see if that looks any better for you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's up to you. As you can see, it affects certain white areas differently when you're doing an overlay or multiply. So you multiply, it just over top. Overlay kind of respects some of the highlighted areas. Whatever. Let's see. I also have a T8 shader. It's kind of basic. Uh, I'm going to use this. How I would normally set it up. So how I would set it up with my setup is all of this stuff is pre-built into this shader, all these nice little connections. And then I'll make sure this shader is available for people to take a look at and use. I'll put it on the blend file. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this sheet. And we'll take this and plug this into color. Plug this in here like this. But if you wanted to do it, if all you were here for is the coloring through Photoshop, I'm pretty much done with that section. So don't need to worry about that. Oops, not that one. Let's grab this one. Plug it in. Why is it looking all red? I'm not sure why it's doing like that, but let's go like this. Since I already have it all figured out. Next color. Let's this back up again. Kaboom. Multiply. Alright, there we go. Alright, this is my OBD texture. Oh, I gotta plug all this stuff in. So we got metallic, we got specular, which is this thing, roughness, normal, and we've got alpha. Alright, cool. So let's grab the textures that I need. So I'll need to grab this RMA, and we'll grab this normal map. So this is the normal map. I'll plug it into normal. And I think I actually have to fix my normal map. So I'll have to fix it before I give this to y'all. Yeah, so we've got this. This needs to be like that. So normal map is looking right normal. That's all right, man. That's all right, man. Put that in. Set the shiny. That's supposed to be shiny. That the coloring is all bad. It doesn't use the color. Alright, and then I need
not sure what they're using for specular. I can set it myself for one too. Download it. Okay. Add column to, or change the coding, column to, something. Etc. So that's one way you can go about coding. Like I said, I need to go ahead and make this. Go ahead and make a blend file that has that stuff in it. Just so you guys will have it as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's go ahead. I want to set it like that. Cool. Go ahead and make a plan. Let's okay, so that's two nodes. Yep. And I'm going to. Okay, so these are all here. Nice. Make sure this is set up. So let's do that. We call this.
Version 3? I'm just trying to make sure I have the basic stuff in here. So yeah, so I've got that ID setup thingy. So you got 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is an example of a 4. These textures may or may not save. Let's see, will it automatically save it? Hopefully it does. Okay, cool. So I think these textures will be saved in here as example textures for whatever. Yeah, so let's see. The groups that I have is these color groups. I have this normal adjusted group. What this does is allows you to plug something in, like a regular normal map, to color, and then normal is just the way it normally would be done, but flipped is in case it's like a DirectX or OpenGL or something like that, and you want to see if it needs to get flipped or whatever. You can do that. Skin shader is kind of like a work in progress. The 8 shader basic is fine, and the ZZ basic shader is something completely else. But this should be really all you need for some real basic stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that for now. If you need to access anything, right, you just create your new material. You can hit Shift A and then go to your group section and pull it from there. Shift A, hit S to search, and then search for it like normal, adjust, etc. But I'm going to go ahead and yeet that out of there. Let's say all. Let's save. Uh, uh, uh. So let me make sure that is available for y'all's. And then that's it. That's all I got for this particular vid, which turned out to be how long? What is this? Oh no, what happened? So 41 minutes ago in the beginning? Okay, whatever. Um, yeah, I can't see where it says how long the stream is, but it's whatever. But let's get this available for y'all before I forget. I'll do it while I'm on stream, so that way, I don't forget. There it is. How big is it? 57, 56 megabytes. Can I put that on my GitHub? Let's see, can I just drop it there? Oh, add code. All right, let's drop it. Oh, I'm limited to 25 megabytes, so let me check out. Let me go to my mega storage. And then what I'll do is upload it there and then put the link in the description. So much lag time. I apologize. I'll log into Lego. Oh, what's going on? Come on. Take it forever. Oh, there it goes. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all I got on this one. I'm uploading that file for you. And you would do that for all of your different stuff. Now, I also have a tool that you guys can use if you choose. And that's if you were using something out. Like, so say I wanted to bake this. There's a couple of ways to bake it. I haven't gotten my text tools to work very well, reliably. Let's see if it'll work today. So, text tools needs to have a principal BSDF shader. Let's see if I can get this color to bake. So I'm going to plug this into emission color, like so. Make it all glowy. And then text tools, I should be able to bake it. And we're going to do a very small thing. Yep, I get this error like every time, which is annoying. But I do have an add-on that I built that you can bake stuff with. So if I unplug this, and then I'll have to put a link to that as well. Tools. And I'll have to make sure it's up to date. But this part should be. If I got this texture baker section here, I can bake, let's say, Um, let's bake this as just regular diffuse, but I'm not gonna make it gray. I can make it gray if you want to, but whatever. We're not gonna do that. You can set the size. We'll set this to small, just because I don't need it big right now. And then you can hit this build. Oh, I gotta select something. So you can click this build or this one. Um, I'm gonna use this one. I like to just do it like that. I'll just say like shoulder bake. Whatever you name it is what the texture will be called. So either way, so we'll go ahead and bake. We'll hit build. And you'll see that the material itself gets a little edited. It looks a little bit funny. Don't worry about that. Just hit bake, and then it will bake it. That was actually pretty fast because it was only 512. So if we look at color, we'll see that I now have a texture that is that color. Well, whatever colors that I wanted. Then you would just save it and use it for whatever you wanted to. If I wanted, let's say, the OBD set up for it. Now, this already has its own OBD, but let's say I made some changes to it. I could do that again. I could rebuild it if I wanted to. Oops, I'm gonna make sure to select it. Rebuild it. You see it's made some changes. Or I can clear it, so there's nothing there, right? And then I can just bake it. There you go. Like I said, it's only 512, so it's gonna bake pretty fast. The I also have an option here for batch making. So if I wanted to make all of these or a couple of these, let's say I want an RMA and I want the TSE and I want a normal map, I could do that. So I could select this thing, hit batch. Oops, where's my projects? Done there. Stream feathers, okay. Let's just call this one textures. Alright, now the thing that I don't like right now, well, that was super fast. Oh, it's also at 512, so it'll use these same settings. Right, and now if you look, there we go. I've got a normal map, whatever. Now, I think my normal map is wrong somehow. Okay, my normal map is wrong because look, I set it up. I didn't set it up correctly. You need to set this up like this so that it's a real normal map. Now I can re-bake just the normal if I want to. So I'm set the normal here, hit bake. There we go. Now it looks like a normal map. Um, yep. And then I would just save over top of this crappy one. Right, and I got my maps. Easy peasy. Um, yeah. So let's see. Let me make sure that's up to date. I think it's up to date. Let's open it up. VS Code. I kind of just woke up and saw this, and I was like, "Yo, I should do this." So I apologize for not being put together. Let's see. Da-da-da. Yeah, everything should be up to date. See if my GitHub is. Can't find Polaris. Well, I don't care. Polaris. Uh, everything should be Alright, so we'll just do that. Alright, cool, cool. Is that how it works? I think I committed it. Now go back to my GitHub. I just want to make sure all my links and everything are solid. Uh, 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 my releases. Draft a new release. Version 1.04. Mm-hmm. Hold up, did it do it right? Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. So the latest release is up to date. So I yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that link, put it on Notepad. Boom. And we'll put startup blend file. And that oops is what how do I the link? Share link. Okay. Alright, cool. That's it. Alright, so I just want to make sure I did it on stream because I don't know how many times I said I'm going to do something on stream and I just don't because I get distracted. So just as random as I make this stuff, it's just as random as I forget to do stuff. So that's it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close up the stream. Hit me up on Discord if you have any questions.